Hi there, my name is Danielle Rocheleau and I am the CEO of Lariday. I'd like to begin today's presentation by thanking you, first and foremost, for inviting me into your home or your office. I would also like to thank ShiftLink for inviting Lariday to be part of these important discussions at ShiftLink 2021. It's integral today more than ever that our healthcare and social service organizations explore the creative means to be the strong, impactful organizations that we need delivering important human services across our communities. As a means of a quick introduction, Lariday is a firm that helps build capacity for nonprofit organizations in social services and community-based health. We work with boards, leaders, and managers to really address some of those challenges that they have organizationally so that they can focus on what they do best, delivering great service. We are a proud B Corporation, which means that we are a values-based company that considers our social and environmental impact in everything that we do. We deliver our work collaboratively with our clients through our consulting, our training, and most recently, our online platform that we call The Peer.
All right, so does this sound familiar? There's a great frontline worker who has a passion and love for the work that they do and for those that they serve. Because of the great work that they do, they're then promoted into management. Excited about this new responsibility, they soon realize that they don't really engage with the families anymore. They start to struggle with managing those who once were their peers, and over time become more and more disengaged with their role and with the organization. This is something we see over and over again with the work that we do with organizations all over the place. So what we're going to explore today is the value of empowered managers. We will quickly cover the difference between leadership and management. We'll talk about why effective managers are so important, and we'll go over 4 things to consider when setting up managers for success. So let's get started. Okay, so what is the difference between management and leadership? Why do we care? Let's remove the titles for a moment and just think about the difference between these two. Leadership is about establishing direction and aligning people. Leaders do the right things to produce change and point an organization in the right direction. Leaders motivate, they inspire, and they mentor their people. Leadership is about strategy and vision, and great leaders rally people to create a better future. Management is about execution. Managers put processes and systems in place to help execute a leader's vision. They are concerned with controlling and solving problems so that things get done. They are concerned with doing things right and working effectively through others to move the organization forward. So basically, leaders are focused on doing the right things, and managers are about doing the things right. Obviously, both strong leaders and managers are important in the success of an organization. The challenge is to know when to manage and when to lead. So how can we reflect on which hat we're wearing when? Every position with direct reports is made up of a range of leadership and management expectations and requirements. Looking at this diagram here, the yellow dots along the bottom represent different positions in an organization, from the executive director through the frontline supervisors. Ultimately, the more senior the position, the more likely it will be skewed towards leadership. Okay, so why are good managers integral to the success of an organization? Well, strategy, people, and systems are the 3 fundamental building blocks of an organization. High-performance management involves connecting these 3 elements in order to generate the most effective output from their division or department. Essentially, strategy defines the purpose and the values that is set. So it defines why they do what they do. The people is everything that they bring to the table, their perspectives, their abilities, their talents. This defines the who in an organization. The systems are the tools the organization provides to help people do their jobs effectively. This helps define the what. It's the manager's job to connect to these three distinct entities in order to generate the most effective output from their team. Organizations that have strong managers and management teams often experience some of the following. They tend to have enhanced capacity and efficiency across an organization that influences their stability and long-term sustainability. They have great team cohesion and collaboration, not only with the individual service teams, but across the agency. They often have highly motivated and engaged employees and lower turnover. They have a culture of succession, which means that they are effective at building people up and moving them into the right fit when appropriate to fill in gaps. They offer quality service delivery and enhanced client or patient experience, and they are trusted by partners and stakeholders, and often are effective at engaging donors, volunteers, and supporters. So how do we all get that experience with the organizations we're with? How do we go about turning good managers into great ones? Well, next we're going to jump into the 4 things that you can do to empower your management.
The first tip is to get clear. Get clear on what you expect of the management role in the first place. So think critically, not about the person who fills it now, but what you will need in the future. So what are those core competencies, natural abilities, skills, knowledge, experience that this role absolutely requires? What will be the duties and the actions that they need to perform? Really, what will they do? What are your expected outcomes? What do we want them to deliver? What does great performance look like? What is the value of the position in terms of productivity or the importance of the role in the organization? And even the brass tacks of what does compensation look like for this role? Then there's capacity building. What is their potential for growth and influencing growth in the organization? Next, write it out. Put that job description together. Combine the thinking from the above, which really clearly articulates the purpose of the role, their domain and the areas to oversee and control, and the accountability and actions that this role will perform. Finally, consider the right fit. How many people here know people or have experienced this yourself? You move into a management role and you aren't really ready for it. You quickly become stressed and sometimes unhappy and just want the role where you don't have the responsibility for managing people. Let's be honest, managing people is hard and your time isn't often your own, and this impacts people in a really big way if they aren't truly happy in that kind of role. This actually happens quite frequently. So we need to be honest with ourselves that management is not for everyone. For example, we need to think about what happens if this is the experience had by that great frontline worker that I spoke about earlier, that they're moved up into management. They are an invaluable person as the frontline worker, which is why we're moving them into a role with more responsibility. But what if that doesn't work out? What will you do then? Are you flexible enough to be able to move them back into a role that is a better fit for their strengths? How will you do it without giving that perception that they've failed? And does your organizational systems support these kinds of moves?
Okay, so tip number 2 is setting the stage. This is all about setting clear expectations, not only about what you want from them, but what they want from themselves, and ensuring that you're both on the same page. Be sure that they know what this role is and what it isn't. This is the chance to really define the organization or team culture that's currently in place and what you want them to maintain. It's about sharing what management practices and approaches and tools you have in place in the organization, ensuring consistency across the agency. It's the chance to really go over the roles and responsibilities outlined in their job description and ensuring that they understand their purpose, their domain, and their accountabilities. It's the chance to dig into performance and goals and outcomes, as well as the overview of authority. So what is the delegation of authority, and what authority do they have to make decisions? What's the reporting structures, the various communications channels, etc. It's also, setting the stage is also about engaging in reciprocal dialogue. This is open communications that goes both ways. It's the chance to encourage reflection and normalize vulnerability. So ask questions like, what kind of manager do you want to be? If you're taking this on, what are you going to give up? And what will be the hardest part of this for you? How can I help? This encourages open and honest discussion. And, really that focus or that open door to talk about what's hard and ensuring that there are many opportunities to do so. Things like regular check-ins that encourage that kind of dialogue will set both of you up for success long term. All right, so tip number 3 is onboarding and ongoing development. This is really about setting them up for success and thinking critically about what it is that they need to know and learn in order to do their job effectively. This is the time to teach them how to connect strategy, systems, and people, as we talked about before. Introduce them to the organization's approaches to managing people, navigating group dynamics, motivating others, having difficult conversations and offering feedback, as well as getting everyone rowing in the same direction. You can reinforce expectations through the orientation, and that really means, through the various overviews or experiences to shadow or debriefing these various things that happen, you open up an opportunity for continuously reinforcing the initial outlined expectations. At this point in time, you really focus on the individual's strengths and support them with where they need potential improvement. Next, think about the formal training. Again, reflect on what the individual needs to know or learn to fulfill their management role, and how best to go about giving them that information, those tools, etc., and knowing or ensuring that they know how to use them. So, you're a manager. Now what? This really requires potential education, so maybe some formal education. There might be ways to go about coaching, offering peer-to-peer mentoring, etc. There are multiple ways to ensure that knowledge transfer, but making sure you find the right ones with the capacity you have are very important to setting your manager up for success. And finally, ensure that you continue those regular check-ins and open dialogue. This will help you and the manager respond to change, address needs, and really put a plan for future development in place. Let's be honest, managers are often experiencing imposter syndrome, thinking that they need to have all of the answers, which puts lots of pressure on individuals. It's your job to debunk this and support them through ongoing dialogue in this learning. The final tip is about encouraging autonomy. We know that an effective means of keeping people engaged and motivated is to allow individuals the ability to move through their work, make decisions, and contribute to outcomes their own way. To do this, you need to build a culture of trust. Leaders who are willing to trust their employees to perform the projects delegated to them get to see beautiful things happen. By doing so, you are showing them that you trust and value their judgment. You're encouraging creative thinking and actively building capacity across your organization. The next is establishing choice. Choice is a great motivator, so encourage your employees to achieve their targets in their own way. Encourage learning. As I said before, normalize vulnerability. Encourage people to take responsibility for mistakes and engage in discussion for improvement. Communicate and listen regularly. This is a reciprocal exercise of sharing the information that they need to know and actively listening to the perspectives and ideas of others. Diversity of thought typically contributes to better decision making, and you need to be okay with receiving feedback that will contribute to achieving goals collectively. And finally, move aside. It might not be done the way you would like it to be done or the way that you would do it, and that's okay. It's truly a powerful experience to step aside and see a group of people moving the organization forward based on the vision set. I can't go talking about a subject I'm truly passionate about without sharing a little more about Lariday's management training program. Launched in 2019, Lariday has put together a program that is ideal for anyone with direct reports. This can mean someone brand new to management or a 25-year veteran to managing people. We have engaged with more than 20 social service and health-based organizations, had over 100 graduates, and currently have over 60 participants in active training today. Along with this program, we've delivered over 7,000 hours of coaching and received fantastic feedback along the way. Lariday's management training program is designed specifically for nonprofit managers. It is a 6-month program that includes 6 in-class learning modules, 3 coffee house chats or seminar-style meetings that help to deepen the learning through group discussion, and 3 coaching sessions per participant where they individually get to explore their challenges with managing people in a safe and confidential way. The goal of our modules are to be practical, informative, encourage reflection, and offer useful tools and resources to be used the very next day. This program has been designed in a way to encourage implementation and accountability of putting what is learned into action. Each module of the program offers an overview of various management frameworks, facilitates personal reflection, and engages in activities that supports learning and implementation. The topics that we cover through the program include Introduction to Management, which is Intro to Management Theory, Time Management, Prioritization, etc. We dig into effective internal communications in the second module because truly managers are communicators, whether that be to their team, to the senior leaders, or across other teams. They need to be able to share effective messages. The third is building the right team. And there we explore the sphere of influence within their ability to determine who the next hire would be, how to go about properly identifying candidates, and moving people into roles based on the right fit. Number 4, we get into setting expectations, offering feedback, and effective delegation. Number 5 and 6, which tend to be the most popular, are how do we motivate people and re-engage people along their employment journey. And finally, developing people. How do we offer that professional growth along the way? We have expansion modules for organizations that are interested that include leading through change and team cohesion and collaboration. Ultimately, while delivering these programs in a wide range of organizations, we have heard fantastic feedback and ways of describing their experience that include it being a transformative process for their teams. Okay, thank you for that. Now let's do a quick recap. In order to effectively empower your managers, remember, get clear of what it is you envision for the role. Set the stage with clear expectations. Offer a thought-out onboarding process and offer meaningful learning opportunities for development. And encourage autonomy through trust, communications, and getting out of the way. I want to thank you again for your time here today and look forward to meeting you during the Q&A. If you are unable to stick around, be sure to send me an email. I'm always happy for an opportunity to get to know you and your organization. Have a wonderful day.